Hi, Jehovah's Witnesses. Thanks for watching my video, and ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. I've tried to leave this a few days, but I'm like a heroin addict. I just really enjoy making these, and you guys seem to say nice things about them, so I've done one myself. This is entirely new, written by me, so I've got notes and everything. So if you see me looking up and down, that's why. Also, I'm going to talk slower. I'm going to try, because so many people have said, you talk too fast. This is called The 10 Types of Jehovah's Witnesses, okay? I've come to the conclusion that there were at least 10 types of Jehovah's Witnesses in the Kingdom Hall, okay? You could name many of these people too, and you probably fell into some of these categories. And if you have any more that I've forgotten, tell me below, all right? We're going to start with number 1, in no particular order, I should say, the true believer, okay? Every Kingdom Hall had at least one of these guys, okay? They hovered around telling you about how lucky you were to be part of Jehovah's organization. And when they came to your house, they would look through everything you owned, all your books, all your music, to see if you had anything that would stumble them. Never mind the fact that they had literally taken your belongings, placed them on the floor delicately, and then fallen over them themselves. If you were unlucky enough to ever go to one of their dull homes, you would discover that their books or music had been strictly limited, mostly to Jehovah's Witness rubbish, and that anything else written by worldly people, I did air quotes, that's terrible, was carefully picked apart. I knew a true believer in my Kingdom Hall who had like a children's party in the hall for us. A lovely girl, Ruth Matchett, I believe it was at the time. And she had an album with the children's song called Jump Up and Down, Wave Your Knickers in the Air. Maybe some of you in Britain know it. She had scrawled out the word knickers from the album cover, and anytime the song came on, we had to stop dancing to the word knickers. That's true. Type 2, the bad associates, okay? There was always a bad associate in your Kingdom Hall. They were the young guys or women, and well, very rarely women, because, you know, women didn't get as much leeway, who seemed to be able to do whatever they pleased without getting in trouble. Don't know how this did. I've come to the conclusion there was 2 ways. Number 1, you either were the son of an elder and you could get away with stuff, or you were a project kid, okay? Maybe some powerful elder was working on you, having a study, in which case you could pretty much do whatever you wanted because no one was going to say a damn thing about it. In my hall, we had a few of these guys over the years. One was an elder's son who used to bring in a teeny tiny little radio and listen to it during the Sunday meeting. Everyone else thought he was just concentrating on Jehovah. He was actually listening to the football. That's true. I remember well. He got away with it because his dad was an elder. His dad was very rich and he was a lovely guy. Still is. I'm friends with him. Okay, we had another bad associate called Stephen, all right? I'll not tell you his surname, but it's true, he was a scumbag, all right? He was the personal project of a missionary couple called Lauren and Grace Shurton, who were mentoring him. And I still remember the elders coming to visit me at my mum and dad's hall to give me a real chewing shortly after I'd had a pretty serious car accident, because I had told a sister who was visiting that he was maybe not the greatest guy to hang around with. And how dare you have an opinion when they think he's good? How dare you? I also remember about 12 months later when he got married to that same sister, and my whole congregation rented a bus to go to his wedding party. Well, I remember as the bus drove around the back of the hotel and the bus's lights illuminated Stephen rounding third base with the bridesmaid. That's right. Unsurprisingly, neither Stephen or that marriage lasted another 12 months in my Kingdom Hall. Type 3, the Hardline Elder. Hardline Elder was a dangerous thing indeed. You never knew what would set them off. Maybe the mobile phone was too loud or too expensive, or or your car was too fancy or not fancy enough, or you brought ladders on the roof whenever you went on the ministry. Maybe you answered too much. Maybe you were showing off. Maybe you answered too little, had the wrong heart condition. Maybe you laughed at the wrong moment or in the wrong place, or you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I was once told by one of these elders that my hairstyle was totally unchristian and I should be ashamed of myself. Told me it in front of all my friends, okay? Why was that? Because at the age of about 18 or 19, and I was going prematurely bald, unfortunately, I had shaved off the rest of my hair to about this level to reveal my glorious shiny skull beneath. The same elder, Lee Overton, has seemingly changed his mind, because I saw him just the other day in Lisburn working, cleaning windows, unsurprisingly. And he has now started going bald and has decided to shave his head. He now looks like Captain Picard from Star Trek. One thing you can always be certain about, though, that the end result for the Hardline Elder is never happy. His children will either leave or get disfellowshipped, or they will move hundreds of miles away from these assholes. And I think that the hardline elders, you would agree, were the worst in the congregation, because they were the ones responsible for the most of the petty laws, the ridiculous rules, and the hard, unloving attitudes in kingdom halls. Okay? The softy elders. I'm not leaving you guys out. The softy elder just wants to be hugged. He's Barney the dinosaur of the kingdom hall. He's not looking to hurt anybody, and he's not going to be too strict about the new light that comes from Brooklyn. Every hall had a softy elder because everyone wanted to be one. Or at least most did anyway. And everyone loved him until you needed him. The softy elder had no interest in risking his position by supporting you against hardline elders. And when you needed him, he's going to disappear like a snowdrop in the Sahara. You can't really blame him, because there was always 3 or 4 elders looking to get him removed. And once he's a publisher, he's got no protection. The other thing about softy elders you'll notice is that they can walk the finest of lines. Don't bother asking them a question that's difficult, because the answer is always going to be, that's a hard one, or let me get back to that one. Though we often liked and loved the softy elder, perhaps most of all, they deserve our pity, because they knew how much was wrong and they didn't have the balls to do anything about it. Type 5, the eldress. The eldress is annoying as hell. The eldress, or snobby elder's wife, knows all the secrets that you foolishly divulged in your judicial committee, and she loves it. The eldress thinks nothing of telling everyone else what to do, or how to do it, or even what you did wrong. That's right. And she knows the only way she's going to get in trouble is if she sleeps with another elder on the platform during the Sunday Watchtower study. In my hall, an eldress had a multi-long year affair with a ministerial servant, and when it was discovered and known throughout the circuit, including with apostates like me, she wasn't even publicly reproved. Life is sweet for the eldress, isn't it? Number 6, the rich families. The rich families float above the mere publishers in the hall like a cloud above a pothole. My hall had a couple of these guys, they really did. And you could count on them for fun parties, or gatherings, as the Jehovah's Witnesses insist on calling them. You always knew that if they had kids, that they were unlikely to get into any trouble, because dad's money is usually a fairly tough armour. They got nice holidays and new cars, often with 2 doors. Oh, jealous. You know, I've never had a 2-door car. It's got to be changed. Nobody ever accused them of being worldly. When the circuit or district overseer came to pronounce judgment on our congregation, you always knew where he'd be staying. That's right, at the elderly single sister. Nah, don't be silly. You'd be staying at the rich family's house. Number 7, the pioneer family. The pioneer families were always the odd ones. Do you remember them? They lived for service and everything else could go and hang. If they accidentally had a few kids in their life, you could bet that they were little ministry machines. They did every part in every meeting that was needed done, and they always seemed to be the happiest in the congregation. Unfortunately, they were also the best liars too, because everything in their life was dedicated to the flogging of a few poorly made magazines. Relationship, love, financial security were far below on their list, and they were usually poor, uneducated, and sad. Mostly window cleaners like myself. Eventually, you'd find these families. Years later, you'll hear about them. Their kids have blown. The adults are shells of themselves, and the families sort of like an echo of what a good family should have been. But hey, in the new system, they get to pick whatever house they want, eh? Adults, so there's that. Number 8, the secret apostates. We were all secret apostates, were we? I was sort of a secret apostate for about a year or 2, and then I just disappeared, thank God. The secret apostates in my day, not your day, you young people. Oh, my day's hard. We had it hard. Not for us, the internet, and free downloads of details of why we were wrong. No way. We had to work it all ourselves out quietly, and with no help. Well, Ray Franz helped a bit, but he was a secret. Shh. The secret apostate waited for the right moment, waited until a wedding or a meal, and then just threw out a truth bomb and left it exploding, with us coughing, bleeding and spluttering, looking for the nearest elder like we were lambs, and we were looking for the big rams to come and protect us from these wolves. The secret apostate, though, could only do this once or twice, because once he did that, he wouldn't be secret anymore. But even those few times he did it meant he would have stink on him for years to come. And the sad thing about the secret apostate, as we all know, and I've got to give you a lot of props, because many of you contact me, okay, is that the reason he's still there is he's dying to get out, but he's only there because wives, parents, grandparents, and children prevent him from making the move, okay? We know you want to run out the door like it's on fire, and we know you can't, but you're with us in spirit, and that's good enough. Okay, I had a lot of time for these guys because I used to be one, and thank goodness I am not anymore. Number 9, the paedophile. Every congregation had a paedophile in their hall, didn't they? You bet you did! Every hall had at least one oddball man, usually a bit older with a slightly odd smell, who sat in the back of the hall, got no privileges and weirded us out. This brother had a mysterious past that you desperately hoped was interesting and possibly involved being imprisoned for his faith. Well, you can be sure he was imprisoned all right, but not for his faith. Years later, you'll learn what he did and who he did it to, and you can realise that all those elders you thought you were really tight with never told you a damn thing about it when your kids were playing with them. In my hall, we had a paedophile couple. That's right, double team. Man and wife moved straight from prison into our congregation, and not a single word was said to the parents, who they immediately started babysitting for. It took worldly probation officers to save the day, who then immediately sent them back to prison because they were associating with children. Number 10, and this is my last one, the gossips. I think this one applies to all of us, right? And I'm still a gossip. Look at me. I can't remember a Jehovah's Witness in my life ever hearing a piece of juicy gossip and saying, I'm sorry, but I don't think this is any of my business. Jehovah's Witnesses are the kings of gossip, okay? We loved doing it and we lived for it. Gossip didn't even need to be true. A boy in your kingdom hall likes Madonna. He's gay. Someone stops going to the meetings. He wants to celebrate Christmas and maybe he's a mentally diseased apostate. A 16-year-old boy gets in a 50-year-old sister's car. She's a whore. A young sister wants to wear fashionable clothes. Definitely a slut. Kill yourself? Let's go with gay again. Gossip is a game we all played really well and we enjoyed it, didn't we? Listen, I hope you enjoyed my top 10. I'm going to do more of these top 10s because I think they're quite popular and I really get a lot out of them. I hope you enjoyed this one. If I've forgotten any of them, put them below. Guys, thanks for watching my videos and have a brilliant day.